Hey guys, welcome back. Today I'm going to be doing the VVT on passenger side bank 1 of the truck. Here's that new VVT I have right here. You can see it is not Chinese, and without further ado, let's get started. Like I was saying, it is on the passenger side bank 1 of the truck, and to get to this, essentially, you don't have to take out this air filter, and I wouldn't recommend it. You know, it's not really going to be in the way, but I would recommend grabbing some bungee cords for this, grabbing all the sockets. We're going to take out the ECU. We're going to take out the battery. It's just essentially more access. We're going to take off the wheel. We're going to pull back the inner fender liner so we can get to those bottom bolts, and I'll show you guys when I started. As always, guys, we're going to be using common hand tools here. These are, what we're going to be using is Icon hand tools from Harbor Freight. No need to buy the expensive stuff. This one is also an Icon. There's a G2 ratchet. And we're also going to be using common Icon sockets. So, yep, let's get working on the truck. So, guys, to start, we're going to take off this battery, 8mm on a 1/4 inch. Just super easy. You don't have to take it all the way off. Just loosen it enough to be able to pop that battery terminal off. Oh boy, that's corroded. I will clean that up. And this one too. And there we go. Now, my truck is missing a battery hold down, but usually there would be a battery hold down with another 8mm right there. But I can just lift my battery up and out of the truck. All right, guys, the next step for me, and it's most definitely probably not for you, is I made this custom bracket to hold on some relays for some of the lights on my truck. And I have to take off this first relay, which is for my light bar in the bumper, to access the bolt that's holding on the bracket. Not great design, but the relay holder bracket. Alright, next step is taking this ECU out, and to get to this you need to unplug this shit for the wiring harness. So this one, these two by the way are the same, which you just fold this tab back and pull gently. This one I believe is for the cab, so just make sure you generally remember where they came from, because it'll make your life a little bit easier. Just like I said, pull that tab back and pull right out. There we go. There's all them wires. Now, we're going to get to, oh shit, that's sliding. There we go. Lefty loosey, righty tighty. Pretty simple. These bolts out right here, make sure you guys have like a carrying case or container. I just use my pack out. There's those bolts from the ECU, plus the one I've already taken out. So, next up is this bottom bolt. And there's 3 bolts, at least for my truck there is. I don't know if the guy before me. Pulls right out. And make sure you're gentle with this. Leave it somewhere where it's not going to get banged up. You don't want, obviously, this getting banged up. That'd be pretty bad. There's some sensitive electronics in these, so leave this somewhere safe. All right, guys, I'm taking this bracket out next. It'll just make it easier to access whatever's in the back of the engine. It will make my life a little bit easier for like 3 minutes of my time. So just gotta. Oh. There's 2 bolts for me. There might be 3 for you. Because you can see right here, it looks like the head of a bolt was there. But somebody might have broke that off. Might have been me. I don't think so though. I don't remember doing it. I ended up getting a little extension and a little U, and there's that 10 on there again. That's just gonna make my life a little bit easier. Alright guys, next I'm going to be taking all the wiring off the coil pack and this whole side. You can see I bungee corded the top part of the radiator here to part of this hood latch, and that's just going to make my life easier reaching to the front here. So let's just start up front. There's this clip, which we need to put down very far apparently. Get it out. Is there anything else on the front end that needs moving? Yes there is. This position sensor, which has a clip somewhere for me. Does it? I'll come back to it. I think it might be broken off. I don't want to go around it. There's an adivde. Here's one of those bolts goes. I think that's a knock sensor again. There's this blow by, which like I said last time. Clips. Pull up. And on this manifold. Is this working? I think so. Pull up. Take this off. And that's somewhere safe. Next up we have this tube, which is ready for coolant, I think. But it's kind of in my way. Then get that first injector, first coil, second injector, and then so on and so forth. Which what's nice is after taking out that ECU shit, I can reach in the back way easier than I could before. The problem is it's reaching for that. There we go. Injector. Oh. And then the very last one, which you just gotta see with your hands. And then we get the last injector, and that is wiring harness. To take the truck off the ground with a jack and a jack stand, always make sure your car is supported by a jack. Give it a good shake, kick, whatever. Make sure it's not coming off. We made sure it's not coming off. Next step, my lug nuts, they're 19 millimeter, so tire off, put it somewhere semi-safe, close enough. And luckily, my truck's a piece of shit. So this inner fender liner doesn't require any bolts to take off. It's pretty sweet. You can see all this fluid back here from a rack and pinion and road grime from right here, I believe. Yeah, because that is absolutely coated in red fluid. Sweet, I will need to be replacing that. But in the meanwhile, no bolts there either. Is there? No, just hung in. Get that around that caliper or that brake line bracket. No. Here. Around the control arm. Now it's going to be stuck on that strut a little bit. Fuck. Blew some shit in my face, I'm not going to lie. But this too. And easy peasy. Look at that. We have access to the back end of the motor. Super easy. And I'm going to go wash my hands because they're dirty. And I'll show you guys what's next. Alright guys, the next step is the coil packs. And we unplugged those previously. They are 7 millimeter. Make sure I got a 7. Yep, I got a 7 on here. And I'd recommend getting a U and a small extension. And just starting at the front, putting it on there. You don't need a U for these first ones, but I just like to have it all so I can do it all at once. Once they're broke loose, you can get them pretty easy, generally. And if this is your first time taking out your coil packs, you might need some penetrating fluid. These are newer bolts. I replaced these. There you go. Like this. Don't lose that bolt. Make sure you don't lose the bolts. Let's get this one. There we go. And then luckily, since the coils are oriented this way this time, that back bolt isn't going to be a pain in the ass, which is the nice part of this thing. Here you are. Like I said, I'm going to be using all common hand tools today. you do drop those bolts down right by the spark plugs, you can use a magnet or a little rubber tool to get these, but just try not to drop them. It's probably the easiest way. And then this back coil, if I remember correctly, take it off, which again is a stick. Which also, what makes this job a lot easier is the wiring harness, which is right here. If you fold that over where you fill the oil in, it'll make it a lot easier and just free up the space a little more. So you have your bolts out, and this back coil, if I remember right, you have to pop it out, pull it up, pull it back towards you, and then just bend the boot a little bit, take so, and it'll come out. Alright, here we go. Next up, I'm going to try to move some more of these wires back here for the wiring harness. But what I'll probably end up doing is loosening these, or starting loosening these 8mm bolts. So I'll see you guys when I do that. Alright, next and very, very, very important step, air. In your engine, you're going to have a lot of road grime kicked up onto it. Like you can see on my valve covers right here and here. I can just grab it and feel sand. You can see all that sand on my fingers and shit. And you don't want that shit getting in your engine because it's going to be, your engine likes to be nice, clean, crud free. So take some compressed air and basically blow all over. From just a few blows, you can see all the shit that's already getting picked up and kicked around. And make sure you blow in here and around here where the head meets up with the valve cover. There's grime that likes to catch and grab there. And in the valve cover, on top of, in between the coils, there's these pockets where grime can get. In the intake manifold, under the fuel rail, basically get everywhere. You don't want to skip out on this step. It's very important you keep your engine clean. I'll catch you guys in the next step where I probably take off the valve covers, which if I didn't mention it already, I zip tied up some of these wiring harnesses to get them just out of my way. I need space. This valve cover is a pain in the ass to take off, and I'll show you. I'll probably need 2 people to help take it off. I did last time because it's gonna hit this AC line right here, and you need to finagle it around that. It's gonna hit this, I think, coolant line. It just hits a ton of stuff, and it's very, very, very annoying and time consuming to take off. This one is just a pain because there's a lot more shit on the side of the engine. I'll catch you guys when I clean the rest of this up. Alright guys, the next step is taking these valve covers off, which those are 8mm bolts. As previously said, I grabbed a 3/8 ratchet with a U and a small extension and a semi-deep socket to kind of get in there. And like I said, just put it on there, make sure it's on the off, and break TS loose. Alright guys, I got my 8mm ratcheting gear wrench here, and oh, you figured out the light. That's pretty cool. We'll put this on here. Oh. So I have a super long extension, an 8 with a U built in, and a 1/4 inch ratchet. Gonna reach all the way back in there, just get that. Hunter, can you give me that flashlight off the side step? I think it's on there. You want to get that as straight as possible. There we go. All the way out. I'm just gonna. Yep, it's all the way out. So now I gotta back the rest of them out. And then it's time to take the valve cover off. Guys, all my bolts are broke loose, and you can tell they're loose when you can pull on them like this and wiggle them around. That's a loose bolt. They won't come out because of these grommets. And when they're all loose, you should be able to pick your valve cover off the head like this. And, there you go. There is a gasket right here. I'm reusing mine because they're fairly new. Right where the timing cover, this cover, the block right here, or sorry, the cylinder head right here, and the valve cover meet. You need RTV there. Your gasket's gonna be stuck on there. Just peel it back slowly off the RTV if you are reusing it. If you aren't, it doesn't matter. Just yank it off if you aren't reusing it. But it's gonna be on the top and on the bottom. Come on. There we go. And the same thing on the bottom. which you're gonna have to feel for this one. And you can see my VVT solenoids are new, just when I did replace all my timing. I use cheap Chinese ones because I'm 17 and about broke. All right, Hunter, you ready? So pick the back end of the valve cover up.
It's not coming up here. Over here. I'll leave the bolts out all the way.
I'm trying to hold it. Okay, apparently I didn't get all of them. But if I do remember correctly, what you guys are about to see, the valve cover is sitting like this currently. We're gonna rotate it like this, and we're gonna rotate it up, around, and back. All right, you ready? So we're gonna rotate it. And that got caught. And it comes off with the gasket. Pretty sweet. As you guys can see, I needed a new gasket, and because this one back here, the old one, ended up getting cut. But here's the new one. I laid the old one out and the new one in it to ensure that it was the same and all of the parts match up. So I'm gonna fit that in that valve cover right after I change out that seal. Socket in here, and then make sure that fucker's lined up and you don't nick it. That's on there square, and then take your hammer and just hit the base part of the socket. That should just push it right out, but make sure you're not screwed up your valve cover. There we go. Just punch right out. So guys, as it turns out, there was this ring still sitting in there, and basically what I did is I took a screwdriver and beat the inside edge out with a hammer on the end here, and then I had the valve cover flipped over, and as this sat in that hole, I hammered with the screwdriver on that newfound lip, and the whole thing just popped out. This was really rotten and bad, so you have to replace that. So guys, with this new one, you gotta put some brake clean or blaster in there. Make sure you wipe out that surface real good. That looks pretty good to me. Now, take your cap full of oil, dip your finger in it, or your fingers, rub them together, get some new oil on there. Then, make sure you have your new seal, which is clean, and take your fingers, just go around this, some more oil. Make sure there's new oil too. You don't want to put old, used oil in. Seat it in there like such, so that when it slides over that solenoid, it seats in like such. Make sure it's square and in there. Just push that fucker in. You may have to take your socket. Can you go to like a 24? It's that big top drawer. And once you seat it, can you get a 25 actually? Or 25 and 26. You want to make sure you get something that's pressing on the outside rings here super evenly, so that when you set the gasket in there, it doesn't seat like such, or so that your socket doesn't tear or not your socket, your gasket. Light taps, and then once it's flush, or not going in, either one. There we go. That's good for me. That is a new gasket seated for the VVT solenoid. So next up, we got to take out this the actual VVT solenoid, and I believe this is a T30. I don't have the exact size on this. T25. My bad. Just set that. Oh, fuck. That's already broke loose. That might be why. But, just take that fucker out. I should probably let you in here. And make sure that you do not drop that little fucking bolt. Because if that bolt drops into the fucking timing cover, you're going to have a bad day if it didn't fall down to the... Best case scenario is you see it from up here. Is you'd see it from like right here somewhere. And you'd fish it out with a magnet. Second best case scenario, it falls into the oil pan, and then you only have to drop an oil pan to get it. Worst case scenario is it falls somewhere else in the fucking timing chain, and you're gonna spend all fucking day ripping shit apart looking for that little fucking bolt. So I have the new VVT here, and I'm gonna press against this again and drop this in. Something that's noteworthy is I pre-soaked the end of my VVT in oil. So you may want to do that. You're gonna want to make sure this little fucking thing starts correctly, doesn't get cross-threaded. Should be able to start it with my fingers. I know you guys aren't seeing the best here, but I need to get this started correctly because I don't want to fuck up. All right, so the torque rating for this on my engine is 89 foot-pounds, or inch-pounds, I'm sorry. Inch-pounds. You want to make sure you're only using inch-pounds, because if you use foot-pounds, multiply this by 12, and so 89 times 12, or 89, yeah, times 12, so 890 something inch-pound. It's fucking nuts. This is a snap-on, but Harbor Freight does sell these. They're $100. So, without further ado, slow and steady. I gotta buy the Harbor Freight, the Icon one of these, because this one has hella back drag. You hear that? I'm only getting like 2 clicks. Snap on, suck. No. Alright, you see that? Oh. That is the sign that it's fully torqued. Alright, now you're at the stage of the build where you can finally switch that fucking ratchet from off to on. Well, that was on, but off for the rest of the shit. So, hell yeah. So, I'm gonna clean this out right now with a little bit of brake clean and clean around. You just want that valve cover nice and clean. The mating surfaces between them. This is just cheap insurance. Doesn't take long. If there's much in there. But next I'm gonna grab my gasket. And your gasket has 2 nubs as such, shown as such. And they go in here and here. That is where the timing cover meets. And make sure this open spot is faced down towards the cylinder head. And you can tell because that's where the coils go in between. So, start in one spot. Push it in with your thumb. Make sure it's in seated all the way. You don't want to rush this if you don't have to. I'm kind of on a time constraint. Like this, it's not lining up perfectly. So, that also screwed up a little bit. This is also back. So I just push it back a little bit until it's in there. Nice, snug fit. You want good alignment. And then also, if this is in there very well, it won't come out while you're placing the valve cover in. Next, we gotta go to the truck. Same story on the truck. There's some grime on the mating surfaces here. I can feel it with my finger. I'm just gonna clean that off so that the valve cover gets a good seat. Come on now, there we go. Next, very important step, RTV. This RTV is gonna ensure a seal between your timing cover, head, and valve cover. It's very important you put your RTV, take some on your finger, and put it right where I showed you where those small little dowels go. You don't need a ton, but I'd rather have more than less, you know? So put some on the actual valve covers, and then take some more, put some on the head there, and then some on the head on the bottom, which I will try to get from up here. Do you see where it is? Oh. Shit, that's gonna goop off. I'll get that later. If you're short and got small arms like me, this might be a struggle from the top. There we go. All right, now it's time to install these heads. So now that we have our RTV on and you have your second person down there, let's put this in, reverse oil. This is like a double-bladed sword because you have to be really careful with the gasket, but you also kind of have to force this valve cover in. So, when putting it in, drop it in, nice, slow, easy. Try to get in without touching the gasket or anything. You can move these fucking lines if you have to. You can yank on that line if you want to. You can't move the fuel line if you want it. You can't go with the fuel line. Alright, so, alright, push the back end up. No, not up, like off the head. There you go. Go to the back. Go on the back. Sometimes you gotta lift the back end up and get over those fucking loads. How's the gasket done?
It is. I'm not
We're so fucking close. Just get this thing on there and then we'll go over there. Alright, back on there. Let's straight back. Pull the back end of the valve towards you. It's on the injector right now.
You have to come on.
Alright, put it back on. Okay, pull it towards you. Pull on that fucking AC line over there. You want to switch spots?
Sure.
Which one is that? Okay, hold on. Is it on that injector back there?
No.
Alright, hold on. Injector. You don't have to push it. Alright. Lift the back end up. Straight up. Shit. Hold on. There we go. It's straight over the RTV. Look, that's better. It's that one down there. Alright, can you set it? Look at the back. It's running all over. I guarantee it.
You have to come off the back.
Oh, fuck me. Look at the back.
Like that?
Look at the back. Drop the foot. Look at the back.
Push back.
The back of the valve, not back.
Oh.
It's hitting.
Got something. Like cutting. You're not cutting.
Hold on. Hold on. Hold on. Hold the pressure on the back. Just one right here. Okay?
Yeah.
Is it on? Go to the back. Pick it back up. It's taking off that load. Fuck. There we go. Back on that. It's on load. Push. Up. I know. Up. Holy fuck, it's seated. There's not seated. There we go. Pull that up, push it up, push it up. So you can see. Fuck that compressor, dude. Right. Guys, you're gonna want to make sure that the back here is seated because a lot of times a load will push this out. So I started those threads back there and I'm just running my finger along the gasket surface, making sure it's in. And I'm gonna do that all the way around the back too, because the back here is where it most likely got pushed on. If you can get it from the top, that'd be wonderful. And one good tip is, so that it'll fall down straight into its place, is start this, but barely start it by like 2 threads. But make sure that whole gasket is on, because you can see if this leaks from up here onto here, this is very hot. These are log headers, so they hold a lot of heat. It'll start burning, and that burn will go up to something like this, or this electrical work, or the ATF that's in here, and cause a bigger fire. It's a really big hazard. Make sure your gasket is on. You do not want that fucking happening. All right, this one feels good. You want to make sure it's in the groove. Now that this valve cover is on, seated, and there's RTV where all the covers meet, you're gonna want to start all these bolts by hand and run them all the way down as far as you can. Okay, so next step is torquing these, and always when you're torquing these, you want to start from the inside and work out. So the back only has 2 bolts, while the middle has 2, and the front has fucking a lot. So I'm gonna go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So, like I said, I'm gonna start over here. Now it's time to put the coils in. This time I like to start from the back and put them in towards the front. So, you see that back cylinder buried? Absolutely. Bolt goes towards the front. Just get that boot in there. Come on, you motherfucker. There we go. So my phone did end up dying, and basically to finish that out, I ended up clipping those zip ties, getting the harness down, plugging everything in, putting the ECU bracket on, putting the ECU on, plugging in the main computer. After that, you got to put your battery back in, hook up your battery terminals, and I think that was it. But sorry, my phone did die, and yeah, I did need to get this done because this is my daily, and it was late, and I had work at 6 in the next morning. But thank you for watching. Please like, please share if you enjoyed the video. Thank you.